So, as usual, I'm trying to improve my worst category, which continues to be sacrificing. Somehow, I just keep getting better and better at the defensive category, even though I haven't touched it at all. I'm now in the 2800 performance for that one, which is making all these other ones look bad. Sacrifice is pretty low. I'm working on sacrifice. So here we are with a new puzzle. This looks pretty bad. This hits the rook and the queen. I think if I could take their queen, I would win the game. So maybe it's like e6, knight e2, you know, like e6, knight e2, king h2, knight g3, pawn takes d7, and win the game. Maybe. This is probably forced. This threatens to win the rook on d8. They have to protect it. And I could take, and play rook c8 again, check, winning the game. So I guess issue might be, what if they play something else? Well, I don't think anything else makes sense. Now here I could take on b8 and then play rook c8 and then play e7. That looks very reasonable. I think I will. Just an observation here. This bishop has to guard g1. Like, let's say I could get my queen on g5. I'd be threatening queen g2. And to guard that, they would have to move this bishop. But the bishop has to guard this square as well. And they don't have any squares like that. So it could be like knight takes e4, pawn takes e4, queen g5. Threatening mate. And then they just can't defend both. So this is probably my sacrifice. But there's also maybe queen e4, queen g5. I was wondering if they could desperado the queen here, but then my queen guards the knight, and they're probably not getting adequate compensation here. For instance, if they try to put pressure with knight c7, I could just take it. They can take this, but it doesn't accomplish anything. So I think this is it. And that was the line. Okay, good. So my possible targets are these. Like if I take on f2, they have to take with the king. That could be encouraging. I think if I take on g3, they also should, they might have to take with the king. At which point it's unclear to me if anything's really happening. anyway. Maybe rook g3 is not working. But also there could be knight e3 or bishop e3. Bishop e3, they'll probably have the chance to play queen d5. So I'm more inclined to look at knight e3. Master, hello. And Bernard, welcome. I think if I understand this right, Bernard is hoping to see tactics that are like between 1500 and 2000 range so that he can make his goal of reaching 2000. I'm not sure if I can tailor the range so I can do exactly those, but I could actually switch and do some easy puzzles. Let me see if I can pivot for that. And yeah, Master for me, it's also quite late at night. So, but chess has to happen sometime. Let me just see if I can switch. Let me see. Give me one moment. See what I can come up with. Whoops. All right, I have an idea. Let's see if this works. All right, this problem set might be in the range of what you're looking for, Bernard. So let's try it and see. But first, let's declare what we're doing. This is an easy set. Alright, now this could just be like I'm winning this bishop. Does it matter? Let's see. Everything's equal, but I can win the bishop in one move, so maybe. I don't think they can tolerate bishop h6. I guess they could play bishop g7 in a pinch. Knight c8, queen d5, knight e7 check. I think this is probably more promising. Alright. This puzzle was rated 1712. So that's somewhere in the range of where you're looking for. We can keep doing these. It looks hideous at the end with the text on top of the box. Maybe I can... do something like that. It still looks bad. 1 second, guys. I just want to edit this a bit. I'm not sure why. Okay, anyway, moving on. The scene just looks a little funny. Okay, I'm in check. I should probably take and not be in check anymore. What's the issue here? I could take the bishop, but then where's my problem? I still don't really see a problem with this. They can't check me. If they take and I take back, I am winning. I don't see why I would play anything except take this bishop. Right. Now to keep my winning chances alive, I should probably preserve my last pawn. Ideally, I could throw this check with rook h7, make them play king g2 and play knight f4 and win their rook. But after rook h7, I think they'll play king g1 and avoid that problem. and it would not be very good. I'm not worried about pawn g6 at the moment because I can play rook takes f6. So probably the issue is rook e5. I think they can defend rook against rook and knight if I just trade my one pawn for their two pawns. For instance, rook h7, king g1, rook h5, rook e5, knight takes... Oh, actually, knight takes g5 protects my pawn on e4, so that might be a valid solution. It seems pretty good. Alright, said that was the answer, so I'll take it. And yeah, Utermaster, I absolutely agree that if you use books that are sorted by theme, it's a very effective studying technique if you're working on tactics. And clearly I'm working on tactics right now too. I think that while the basic tactics, you learn all of them before you're like 1500, there are some hidden tactical themes that come up over and over again at higher levels, and it's good to try to discover them since they're not really well documented in books. So I see a pin. I could play rook h5. I don't see an obvious defense for that, so I guess I'll just go for it. Yeah. So in this position, I think I can play knight d4. Well, that allows queen g3, so that's not the case. Could play knight f4, a little bait and switch, like attack the d5 square. Because they can't really play rook e3 in that case. I can play queen takes f5. And meanwhile, they're losing the d-pawn. So if I play knight f4 and they play d4, what's happening? Maybe I should just play g4 here. Avoid all that problem. g4, rook takes e3, queen takes f5. Seems normal. Yeah, I think I can live with this. And everything's protected. They don't have any reasonable checks. Oh wait, no. After queen f5, they have rook e2. Right. Rook f5, they don't have rook e2, so I think I should choose this one. That looks good. Hippos, welcome. Unfortunately, I'm not so good with the Russian characters, so no idea what you said. Hope it was nice. So I could take that bishop with the bishop, probably. Bishop takes c3. If they play e1 queen, I can just take it. I think the idea for black is that if I take with the bishop, they can play rook takes c6, which is pinning the bishop. But that also gives me an extra move to play rook takes e2. But then I have to give the piece back. The resulting rook endgame is probably close to drawn, if not absolutely drawn. Like, you can play for a win, but I think it's probably not the answer. Well, either way, they are playing e1 queen, so I have to deal with that. I could just take the pawn, probably resulting in rook takes e2, king takes e2, bishop takes a5. Or they could just play rook takes c6, probably, without major issues. It'd be nice if I could make them move both rooks, like bishop c3, rook c6, something that makes them move a rook, and then rook d8, king h7, rook h8. That'd be cool. That'd be checkmate. I don't know that bishop c3 has to be the first move. That's why I'm not playing it. I think that probably bishop c3 should be the first move either way. Because if I play rook e2, this is only giving more options to black. It's not... No, I don't think it's a winning rook endgame, Unitermaster. At any rate, I think it would be such a small advantage that it wouldn't flag as the answer for a tactics puzzle. But I'll do this first. Because I think we can, just by comparison, see bishop c3 is a more testing move. Now here, what I'm wondering is if I can make them move their rook somehow and get a back rank thing. Or if I could, like, I don't know, play a clever intermediate move. The obvious move, rook e2, looks like it loses all advantage. I don't think it could be winning. Rook e2, king e2, rook c3. Oh, actually, maybe there is a way. Hold on, what could it be? My issue is that they're playing rook c2 check, so if I play like rook a5, they could either play rook c7 and try to hold down the fort, which is very respectable, or they could play rook c2 check and swing for the fences, which is probably a little bit more beneficial for white because their king is active. So I'm just looking for something good here. Yeah, maybe it's just better to like try to hang on to the piece. There's no mate here. Because in order for there to be a mate, I would need my king on like f3 or something to play. Actually, no, not even f3. I would need to play rook e2 not check, and then rook d8. That's the only way that I can do better than this. Okay. So we move on. It's too bad there wasn't a checkmate there, though. Okay, what do we got? Is there queen trapped or something? Like, we're hitting their queen with the bishop on e3. We just have to move the knight. But if we move the knight any old place, they can take the bishop. So probably knight b5 is the first move. That way, if they play knight e3, we play knight a7, and we have enough pieces for... Hold on, do we have enough pieces? Knight e3, knight a7. And like the bishop's hanging, the knight on c3's hanging. I don't really believe in black's position generally. Excuse me. Well, I'm probably losing a piece if I don't play knight b5. Yeah, knight e3 is the best move. I don't know why it bothered showing black's move if they're gonna end the puzzle right here. I was wondering what to do in exactly this position. Probably knight c8, knight e1. Or maybe like just let that knight be trapped. Yeah, what is even the best move here? Anyway, from a decision-making standpoint, this is not that important. That was definitely the best play. Yeah, what is that puzzle for real? Ethan Klein 69 on Twitch, welcome. How's your chess training going? I'm pretty sure I saw that you were working on something just now. I need to take a look at some opening stuff before we chat later on. Yes, tactics good. Oh, also I need to edit all the clips from Switzerland. That's another thing I need to do. Maybe I should just like stick them all together and publish it like that. Like, who cares? I'll see what I can do about uploading them. Oh, I haven't even looked at the position yet, Utermaster. I was talking to Ethan. Let's see. So we're in check. The pawn is going down the board. I would never trade rooks here because then I like lose all of my potential. But do I have to trade? No, I don't think so. I don't see why I would trade rooks here. Like, I'm not losing, so. Now, next thing, I think that was a mistake. Like, I should probably play rook d4 here. Rook d4, threatening mate, so they have to play rook takes d1. King takes d1, I guess. They play g6. I'm sorry, b6. I play rook d6, b7, and rook b6, winning the game. So, I think that's it. Take it with king. Probably the reason this has any rating whatsoever is that you have to see that if you take with the rook, they can play a move like king b4, and they're doing well. In fact, Ethan, I think I should like upload all those clips from Switzerland tonight and just stick them together. Otherwise, I'm probably gonna like keep pushing it off to the point where it's not relevant or interesting anymore. Yeah, this looks like a mate in 2 actually. Mate in 2. If we play queen d8, they block, so we do this one. Yes, good. Alright, how about this? If we just throw the queen e8 check, it's probably not much, so we should probably win a bishop. Are we winning a bishop? We might be winning a bishop. I think we're winning a bishop. Like maybe queen b3. They have to put their king on a dark square. Important detail. No, queen d8 doesn't work. I think queen e7. Oh, maybe so, actually. I didn't even think about that. I saw they could block and start looking for other moves. Queen b3, king, like, f8, bishop takes g7. I don't lose my bishop anymore, thank you. And I take the bishop on b1. I think that's it. Intermediate move, very nice. Is good. I take bishop. Yes. Exactly. Of course, what else? This one looks like I could have some back rank memes occurring. The thing is, they have king d7. Like, it's not rook c2, for example. I don't think. I mean, first of all, they can check my king. But even if I could move the rook quickly and play queen a8, they would play king d7. That's not right. On the other hand, if I play like rook d6 and they take it, I can play queen c6 checkmate. That would be cool. And it threatens me. I think it's rook d6. And I take the queen now. Yes. I don't know why they even bothered showing their next move. Eater Master said rook d6 with 3 question marks. I think if you add enough question marks, it eventually comes full circle to an exclamation point. I could take piece. Yes. Maybe rook takes d5 and white resigns. I could take that one. They have to take with the knight, and then knight e2, king h1. Hey, hold on. Does that make sense? Take, knight e2. I'm not sure it makes sense anymore. By the way, the merch store link just dropped on Twitch. If you guys want to get some cool stuff like my mug or my sweater, feel free. It's all there for you. And in the upcoming Fan Face-Off Arena, the winner will get some heavily discounted, if not free, stream merch. And the highest ranked Fan Fight Invitational qualifier will as well. So you guys can check that out, even if you don't want anything right now, just to see what kind of stuff might be at stake in that upcoming event that I'm going to be hosting. Because the world runs on stuff, you know, we care about stuff. If I don't put any stuff out there, why do you care, right? Stuff is important, I think. Insert a George Carlin skit about how we have too much stuff exactly here. I feel like the tired's setting in because like there's hanging pieces. There should obviously be something here. If I play bishop d5, they're gonna play bishop d4, I think. Because if knight takes d5, then rook takes d5 looks pretty simple. They don't have c3, I have knight e2. So bishop d5, bishop d4, and what? Maybe bishop c4. I don't see why I can't just play this first move. Alright, bishop c4. My first thought when the position popped up was bishop g2, which is, of course, ridiculous. At least I think it's ridiculous. So bishop c4 seems a lot more plausible. What's going to happen if I do that? I don't know, maybe they're both plausible. Bishop c4, bishop takes f6 maybe. maybe I should play bishop d4 check, rook d4 check, rook f1, king f1, bishop g2. Yeah, that makes the most sense. This is way too easy for me to not get this right away. Absurd. Alright, I'm seeing Yeatermaster got it just now. I think there must be some lag between your comments and what I'm seeing. I wish I could make that lag less, but I think that's just a reality of being on the internet. There's gonna be some lag. Sometimes I wonder if there's like an abstraction effect where me looking at the position through the stream software makes it different from just looking at the position directly and like tricks the brain. I don't know. Sometimes I have superstitious feelings like that. Anyway, I kind of sense something wicked this way coming, like checkmate stuff potentially with like a queen or a rook on h7 or the back rank. Their king's really trapped. But a move like knight f6, not sure it makes the cut, because after knight takes f6, everything is protected. I don't like that so much. Yeah, Ethan says online versus over the board is a real thing. I think that's especially true. Definitely obvious. Yeatermaster, thanks for tuning in. Have a good sleep. Take care. Yeah, online versus over the board is so real. The online versus like even more online distinction is probably open to discussion. Now, if I could play something like knight g5 and not get taken, that would be pretty cool, because maybe, well, first of all, I could take their queen, but if I could get something like queen h7 and then like I'm protected and I can play rook h7 or the other way around, that would be cool. I don't think it's happening though. So rook f7 is a pretty obvious move too. They have to play queen f7. Nothing else makes sense. Rook f8 would be mate in 2, so they have to take it. It could be just queen g3. Just threaten mate on the back rank. But then rook takes a7 guards the back rank, so maybe not that simple. Geody, welcome to the chat. I could play you another time. I do sometimes have events where I'm playing against viewers, so maybe if you can just hang in there until I have one of those events, that would be good. Yeah, welcome to the channel. I'm glad that you're here. I've recently been doing a lot of tactics live because I think it's important for my own training, so I'm pretty committed to staying on this task for now. But definitely another time we could do something. If you want to see something where viewers are playing, I have a fan fight invitational arena coming up, and you can definitely join in that, and I could give commentary on your games if you join in. You can see that on my YouTube channel homepage. Just look at the upcoming events. There's one called Fan Face Off Invitational. Just click on that. All the details are in the description. I think you would probably really like that one. Alright, good night, Ethan. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, so where are we at right now? We were just looking at this one. I was thinking queen g3, but then there's rook takes a7, and that's not working as far as I can tell. They have a lot of ways to guard their back rank. Just trying to find the weak spot here. I feel like it has something to do with the king. Their position doesn't look great. Could be something like bishop g4, but that's not too convincing. For instance, perhaps queen takes c4. Probably take a lot of the steam out of the... Actually, queen c4, queen takes, pawn takes, rook takes f7 would be good. So this could actually be just that they're dropping the rook. Bishop g4, they have to move the queen somewhere. They don't have any good spots. I think it's probably that simple. And it was. Nice. And we move forward. So we have a piece hanging. We're a pawn down, but their king might be weak. Knight f6, pawn takes f6, queen takes h7, king f8, queen h8, king e7, and then something. That seems pretty reasonable. It could also be queen h7, king h7, knight g5, king h6, knight f7. Oh no, because the bishop guards the queen on e5. I think it's knight f6 though. Knight f6, pawn f6, queen h7, king f8, and something good here. Queen h8 stood out. King e7, queen g7, and then they can play king e8, king d8, or king d6. King d6 looks like it's running away from the action, so that's sort of an obvious candidate. And I think it's over at that point. I don't think there's any checkmate if the king reaches d6. Maybe knight f6, pawn f6, bishop h7. Bishop h7. If they play king to h8, there's probably a disaster brewing, like bishop g6, king g7, queen h7, king f8, queen f7, checkmate. Okay, so they can't play king h8. So maybe they would play king g7. I would really like to get this rook involved somehow. But my issue is if I sack a piece and then try to activate the rook, they have back rank ideas. Like queen e1 could become me pretty easily. But all the pressure's on h7. So it makes sense that knight f6 is the first move. I don't think it's the only possible first move, but it's certainly interesting to consider. Hard to see how to justify knight f6. I don't think it's something slow either, like knight f6, pawn f6, queen h6. I think they have bishop e4 maybe. Or maybe just f5. Yeah, f5 looks better. It could also be something relatively simple like queen f3. Sort of a counterintuitive looking move, but the idea is that if they play bishop e4, we have queen f7, king h8, and queen f8. It's mate in 2. And it's a pretty powerful threat. I wonder if they can't play just some move that guards f7 though, or f8 even, like maybe bishop a3, and then queen f7, king h8, and nothing's happening. I thought about like knight f6 and then queen takes c6, but if I play queen f3 and then knight f6, they could play queen takes f6 and queen takes c6, queen d8 looks pretty close to equal. I don't see anything really better than queen f3 though at the moment, so let's try it. Oh, got it wrong. It's too bad. It says knight g5. Knight g5 is a strong looking move, but I'm not sure I see the point. Oh wait, there's mate in 1. This is so stupid. Excuse me. So knight g5. This looks more logical. And I can see that we're at least winning a queen here. Okay. I'm going to chalk that one up to just tiredness. Because this is pretty easy, actually. Alternatively, you could call it like being less familiar with the pattern. Something that's like you can solve just by analysis if you're sharp, and you should probably just know it by heart. So I think that's how I would rather take it. It's like more accountability. Knight takes f7 could be good here. Maybe. They have to play rook takes d1, I think, because if they play rook takes f7, there's rook takes d8. And if they play rook takes f7, I'm sorry, if they play king takes f7, it's the same problem. So knight f7, rook d1. I wonder if I want to play knight h6 and mess up their pawn structure. But it is a piece sacrifice, so it would have to be pretty spectacular. Maybe like knight f7, rook d1, rook d1, rook f7, rook d8, and then something, but even this isn't convincing. Could be something like knight c4, rook d1, and then an intermediate move maybe. I'm hesitant to just pick up a pawn. Like knight c4, rook d1, pawn c4, queen h5. Yeah, white's slightly better, but I'm not sure it's winning. For instance, they could play queen e4 maybe and get some counterplay. I wonder if it could be like knight f7, rook d1, knight g5, something ridiculous like that. My hesitation exists because of rook takes f1, the king takes f1, and then maybe a move like g6 or queen e4, just stopping it. It's a nice idea though. Knight f5 is probably stronger than any of the moves that I looked at, because after knight f5 you're threatening knight e7, so rook d1 is met by knight e7, just wins a lot of material. In fact, actually it's checkmate. Santosh, yes, this is a puzzle. I think I just found the answer. This wins in exchange. All-time high correct in, says period standard year. I have no idea what that means, but okay, I'll take it. It congratulated me for something. Well done, me. This is not... Oh, I'm in check. That's why it's not mate in 1. So I could play bishop g7. I could play queen g7 too, but I'm not giving up on this checkmate. So what could go wrong with various things that I do here? I could play king h7, which would allow them to defend the mate with queen f5 and then queen b1. That doesn't look so great. I could win a piece. Maybe. Like if they play queen b1, they play bishop c5. Seems okay. But I think checkmate is near, so probably no reason to really allow that. But king h7 does look relatively safe as well. King h8 might be even easier. King h8, there's not a check in sight as far as I can tell. Bishop guards h5, so they'd have to sack a whole queen to deflect the bishop, and then I just come right back. Queen h6, there's bishop h6. The queen's guarding f6 and e5. Their bishop on b6 is dead, so there's no bishop d4 or anything like that. Maybe their hidden resource is like knight d3. That could be a disruptive move. For instance, king h8, knight d3, queen takes d3, and maybe now they could start checking. even then, I just don't see it. Like I think this is just winning in several ways. Not totally sure about it. I think I just got a challenge. Just a message. Well, I think king f7 is probably easy to rule out, at least, because if they can play queen f5 check, I think it returns to the other possibilities somewhat readily, like queen f5, king e8, queen c8. It doesn't look like the right direction. So we're really looking at king h7, king h8, and bishop g7. Bishop g7 allows queen d8, and if I don't want to repeat, I need to play king h7, and then there's queen d3 check, which trades queens, so that's an important detail. So bishop g7 is out. We can't play that. There's queen d8, king h7, queen d3. So it's between king h7 and king h8. King h7, queen f5, king h8. Queen takes f8. So I can't play king h7 because it'll lead to a repetition. So king h8 is actually the only move that makes sense. Alright, so there's knight d3, as expected. They want to answer queen a1 with queen c1. But I can play queen takes d3 here. I think I calculated that this is all 100% fine. Queen takes d3, queen f6 is probably the biggest challenge. King g8 is actually not the only move. Feels kind of like the only move. Anyway, I think I'm playing a piece up once I play queen takes d3. And I don't see another way to make progress, so I'm pretty comfy playing it. Just see what happens. That was their best try, and they can try for perpetual, but it's really not going to happen. Rook takes e5 is a free piece, right? I think it's that simple. Are we down a piece or something? No. Rook e3, rook c1 check. Maybe that's important. Queen takes c1 seems fine. Yeah, I'll just take it. Queen c1. Easy. This could be rook d6, queen d6, pawn e5, and then queen f7. So I'm just looking out for extra options that they might have. I don't really want to try something like pawn e5, bishop e5, bishop f7, queen f7. Oh, maybe that's not so bad. I can trade queens and then take on d6. I was thinking maybe I'm allowing bishop d4, but I don't think that's really happening. So am I taking the rook first, or am I taking on e5 first? Well, actually, if I take and they take with the bishop, I'm not winning the rook on d6. Bishop on e5 protects the rook on d6. The rook on e8 is protected, so the bishop on e5 being pinned is not a big deal. So I think I have to take and then take on e5 to get anywhere. Just slowing down here. I think I can play bishop takes f7. And then if king f7, I mean, only move. Of course, what else? Pawn takes e5, check. And they can't play queen f6, the pawn is guarding f6, so they have to lose it. So this is probably probably it. I'm just winning this rook. Cool. They took my stuff. That's not nice. What was it, a pawn? Yeah, it was a pawn. I could take, and then they take on g5. So that's not great. This looks like the kind of thing where I want to, like, I don't know, trap their knight on d1. Like maybe bishop e7, knight c3, bishop d8, knight d1. They're able to play knight takes b2 to escape. So I'm wondering if I should play like bishop e7 and take on d6. Or something else. Well, I'm not confident anything's interesting except for this one. So I could take that, and then maybe I should play queen e1. So that their knight's hanging, their rook's hanging, their queen's hanging, everyone's hanging. I'm chilling, you're chilling, they're chilling. It's just a big chill. Yes. And now I take the rook, because if I take the knight, then they can play rook e8, and that's a little bit awkward, so get rid of that one. Alright, a couple more. I told myself I would only do this for an hour because I have to do some other chess work after this, like opening stuff. And that's not going to stream really well, so I'll probably be wrapping up at that point. But it's been great to have you guys here. Hopefully you guys can tune in for the upcoming Fan Fight Invitational Arena. That will be really a good event, I think. We have equal pawns, but my pawns are kind of silly looking. My bishop on b6 is really bad. The pawn on d5 is weak. It's tempting to just try to win it with like pawn c6 or something. It just might work. But I also wonder if I have something better, like rook f6, king e2, rook f2, king f2, c4 check, bishop e3 perhaps. I'm sorry, rook e3, and then something awesome like knight f5. That is totally plausible. Great story. Oh, they didn't even bother with saving the rook. I must have missed something even better. Okay, so I think, yeah, rook f6 check was definitely right, Santosh. I think I'm going to wrap up right here. It's been great. I hope you guys can tune in for some of the upcoming events that I have scheduled. They are all there on YouTube if you want to see what's coming up. And be sure to check out the recent video that I uploaded. It's the first in an upcoming series of lessons with Samantha, and it's appropriate for people who are just getting into chess, but might be entertaining for you even if you're not just getting into chess. So feel free to take a peek, and I'll see you guys next time. Good luck with your chess.